Today's news highlights 20250822. Date August 22, 2025. Republic of China August 22, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights traditional Chinese medicine physician Wang Dayuan reminded that breakfast is the key to energy for the day, and it is recommended to eat at 7 to 9 a.m. when the stomach meridian is at its strongest, for the best absorption efficiency. If you choose high GI foods, your blood sugar is prone to large fluctuations, leading to hunger and fat accumulation. On the contrary, low GI and high fiber ingredients can stabilize blood sugar and maintain focus and satiety. If you want to create a high-energy breakfast, you can choose more tryptophan-rich foods such as chicken breast, eggs, oats, nuts, salmon, and bananas, which can help stabilize your mood and improve mental clarity. By developing the right breakfast habits, you can meet the challenges of the day with high spirits. News highlights Japanese physiotherapist Shin Ohashi pointed out that high blood pressure is often associated with chronic muscle tightness, because poor blood circulation stimulates the sympathetic nerves, causing blood vessels to constrict and harden, forming a vicious circle. He shared a case where a patient suffered from shoulder and neck stiffness and high blood pressure due to poor posture, and by adjusting the two moves of head-neck boundary and head moving forward and upward, he relaxed his neck muscles, and his blood pressure stabilized after 3 months, and he even stopped taking medication. Ohashi emphasizes that improving posture can reduce muscle burden, help the autonomic nervous system function properly, or become a natural way to control blood pressure. News highlights Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his rejection of Russia's proposal to include China as a security guarantee after the ceasefire, on the grounds that the CCP not only did not assist Ukraine, but instead supported Russia's military operations through energy procurement, parts supply, and drone markets during the war, and even Chinese citizens were captured and confirmed to participate in the war. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine only needs countries that are truly willing to help as security guarantees. At present, the United States and Europe are discussing the post-war security framework, and US President Trump has also promised to help, but Russia has a tough attitude, and Lavrov criticized that the security arrangements not included in Russia are ineffective, making the prospects for peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine still uncertain. News highlights in July, 7 Chinese stocks listed on the Nasdaq, including Austin Technology, OST, had a pump and dump scam, and the stock price soared and then collapsed by more than 80% in an instant, and its market value evaporated by more than $3.7 billion, and many investors lost all their money. The FBI pointed out a 300% surge in related complaints and launched an investigation. Analysts suspect that Austin Technology executives may be involved because of the abnormal number of warrants issued, which is suspected to be one of the trading plans. Victims gathered on Discord and other platforms, calling on the SEC and law enforcement to investigate. This incident highlights the regulatory loopholes in Chinese stocks and the high risk of social media fraud. News highlights Chushu means that the heat gradually stops, and it is the second solar term of autumn, which falls on August 23, 2025, which is the first day of the 7th lunar month. The ancients used July flowing fire to observe the celestial phenomena, symbolizing the retreat of summer and the autumn solstice. At this time, it coincides with the Zhongyuan festival. Taoist and Buddhist beliefs are integrated, saving lonely souls, repaying kindness, and spreading the spirit of compassion and giving. The proverb reminds: go out to face the heat, beware of autumn tigers, the weather may still be hot, and you need to guard against typhoons. Chushu is also the autumn harvest season. Health preservation should nourish yin and moisturize dryness. Duck meat and pears are justified. There is a saying that Chushu sends ducks to each family, and there is no disease. The solar terms integrate celestial phenomena, agriculture, and faith, which means to stop the heat and welcome autumn, accumulate blessings, and maintain health. News highlights the White House is rumored to intend to invest in semiconductor manufacturers subsidized by the U.S. CHIP Act through the Subsidy for Equity model. In addition to TSMC, silicon wafer manufacturer Global Crystal may also be targeted. According to industry analysis, if U.S. funds enter the market, it will help Global Crystal expand its production capacity and win orders from major manufacturers such as Intel, which is beneficial to operations. Compared with TSMC, which involves advanced processes and competitive relationships, Global Crystal has no rivals in the United States and is a purely strategic resource. Global Crystal invested $3.5 billion in Texas and Missouri to expand production, and has received more than $200 million in subsidies from the first phase of the CHIPS Act, totaling $4.06 billion. News highlights as the 823 recall vote approaches, the outside world is concerned about whether the blue camp can replicate the 726 shutout result again. The turnout of 726 reached 56%, which is lower than the general election level, but the disagreement votes of 7 blue committee seats exceeded the number of votes they were elected, indicating that blue-white cooperation and intermediate voters are the key. In some constituencies, due to the previous candidacy of the People's Party, the supporters of the white camp turned to the blue. In areas without white camp candidates, intermediate voters hold up umbrellas. In the end, the Blue camp held all 24 seats, highlighting its grassroots strength and constituency structure advantages. The mobilization of the Green camp was not as expected, and only 7 districts reached the recall threshold. In the future 823 and 2026 local elections, the continuation of blue-white cooperation will affect the direction of the political situation. News highlights: the Ministry of Labor said on the 19th that due to the impact of the 20% plus and reciprocal tariff in the United States, the number of unpaid leave reached a new high, but reminded employers that if they lay off employees, they must give them employment leave in accordance with the law. According to regulations, workers are entitled to 2 days of employment leave per week during the severance notice period, and employers are not allowed to request interviews or submit resume certificates, as long as they explain the reason for the leave. If the employer refuses to give leave, he will face a fine of 2 to 30 yuan. The Ministry of Labor emphasized that this regulation only applies to those who have been laid off, and voluntary resignation is not applicable. At present, companies are facing tariff pressure, and most of them respond by reducing shifts and taking breaks, and the number of layoffs has not increased significantly. News highlights: many people fall into the cycle of weight loss regain weight loss, which is actually related to the body's fat memory. Studies have pointed out that fat cells have epigenetic memory and prefer to return to being overweight, resulting in weight rebound and a yo-yo effect. Regaining weight is not only due to lack of willpower, but also due to cellular mechanisms. However, scientists have found that weight loss can still help promote lipid metabolism and remove aging cells, which has positive benefits for the body. To break through the obesity barrier, the key is to continue exercising and cultivating long-term lifestyle habits, because exercise not only consumes calories, but also builds a physique that is not easy to gain weight. News highlights: Invesco pointed out that as U.S. employment data weakens, the market expects the Federal Reserve, Fed, to cut interest rates, and U.S. Treasury bonds have regained their safe haven status and are more attractive than European government bonds. Senior investment group manager Dranges said that he has continued to make profits on his overweight position in U.S. bonds since the beginning of this year, and expects the Fed to cut interest rates twice by the end of the year, each by 0.25 percentage points, and may hint at a rate cut in September at the Jackson Hole meeting. The yield on U.S. 10-year Treasury bonds is about 4.31%, and the spread with German government bonds has narrowed from nearly 200 basis points in June to about 155 basis points. News highlights: President Lai declared that he would build Taiwan into the Asian Supply Chain Center for Drones, and Hangxiang Chairman Hu Kaiheng led the establishment of the Taiwan Outstanding Drone Overseas Business Opportunity Alliance, integrating 8 CO chairmen including Shinyeo Technology, Thunder Tiger Technology, and Evergreen Aerospace to jointly improve technology and seize global orders. Nearly a year after its establishment, the alliance has increased from 50 to more than 200 members, and has formed alliances with many organizations in Europe, the United States, and Japan to promote technical exchanges and international cooperation. News highlights: China CITIC Bank and Uni President Enterprise Group have cooperated to launch the CTBC UniOpen CO branded card, integrating nearly 30 brands and about 1 channels, including 7-Eleven, Starbucks, Carrefour, etc., to create the largest retail financial ecosystem in Taiwan. The goal is to issue more than 100 cards in the first year and 300 in the second to third year, combining open point points and mobile payment functions to achieve a one-card thorough life scene experience. The two sides emphasize that through resource integration and data sharing, they will deepen users' daily lives and promote the transformation and upgrading of retail finance. News highlights: the commentary pointed out that former U.S. President Trump's way of talking about trade agreements has been compared to a lame godfather, offering conditions that are unacceptable to other countries and lacking predictability. Unlike gang bosses or dictators, Trump's tariffs and tax policies are random and arbitrary, making it difficult for companies and countries to plan investment and trade, distorting markets. Previous agreements between the United Kingdom and Japan have not been implemented so far, and the EU is unclear about Trump's requirements. Experts believe that it is not the taxation itself that really hurts the market, but the arbitrariness and unreliability of policies, which hinder trade flows. News highlights: after the failure of the 726 recall, President and Democratic Progressive Party Chairman Li King turned from a behind-the-scenes promoter to a personal campaign, insisting on accompanying civic groups to the last mile to face the second wave of 7-seat Blue Committee recalls on August 23. There have been constant questions about his governance and the role of party chairman inside and outside the party, including former Vice President Liu Ziyulian's call for him to resign as party chairman and focus on state affairs. Scholars analyze that the DPP has prepared for the failure of the 823 recall, and its resources are focused on the nuclear referendum, using the results of the referendum to slow down the impact of the recall defeat on the party and avoid the deepening of the DPP's ruling and opposition pattern. News highlights: 31-year-old starlight singer Xie Zhenting was shocked to hear that he was missing, and his friend Fan Yangjing issued an emergency missing person notice on major social platforms late last night, calling on anyone to contact Xie Zhenting immediately, and said that many people on our side are looking for him. Xie Zhenting's last news is the IG Music Classroom enrollment advertisement on July 1 and the news of the new song on July 21. In 2024, he was accused of carrying a knife with the intention of hurting his ex-girlfriend, emphasizing self-defense and apologizing afterwards, revealing that he had experienced blows such as his ex-girlfriend's breakup and his mother's cancer-suicide attempt, and even disbanded the studio and production team during the low ebb, admitting that he felt frustrated with his life. News highlights: it is rumored that the Trump administration is considering investing in TSMC, but the Wall Street Journal reported that the Trump administration has given up on this idea, possibly because TSMC is considering returning U.S. chip subsidies. Although Trump has confirmed his stake in Intel, TSMC and Micron are not included in the list of shareholders. TSMC has discussed that if the United States takes a stake, it may return $66 billion in subsidies to the Arizona plant. Neither side commented on this, and the United States currently does not seem to have any intention of investing in TSMC or other chip companies that increase investment in the United States. News highlights: million YTR Joman shows 2 million Samsung monitors in the living room and master bedroom in a new video, and the suspected logo was accidentally revealed, making netizens speculate that he moved into the Zinswang mansion Far Glory 95 that he unpacked 5 years ago. This skyscraper has 5 floors underground and 42 floors above ground, is 183 meters high, with a square meter of about 140 square meters or more, and the asking price ranges from 1.1 to 250 million. Netizens praised Joman's inspirational story from unboxing the mansion to actually moving in, and also discussed the decoration taste of the new home and his ability to make money, believing that the new home is the real Supreme King. News highlights today, 22nd, Taiwan was affected by the tropical disturbance in the east of the Philippines, with increased moisture and an increase in afternoon thunderstorms in various places. Experts pointed out that the disturbance may develop into a tropical depression or even a mild typhoon after entering the South China Sea over the weekend, but it does not directly threaten Taiwan for the time being. The Central Meteorological Administration predicts that the high temperature and hot weather during the day this week, thunderstorms will intensify in the western half and northeastern mountainous areas in the afternoon, and there will be brief rain in Huadong and the Hengchun Peninsula. The high temperature in Taipei can reach 37 to 38 degrees, and the central and southern mountainous areas may also exceed 36 degrees. News highlights: curator Chen Zhihan complained on the 19th that he could not open a Douyin account, but in the early morning of this morning, 22nd, he successfully applied for the Chinese mainland version of Douyin and passed real name authentication, and the number of fans of the account soared to 2.8 in a short period of time. He has released 2 pieces of content, including a selfie in the car and an AI picture of a muscle cat, and reminded fans to "don't chase my account." Netizens responded enthusiastically, with both support and doubts. It is understood that registering Douyin in mainland China requires a Chinese mobile phone number or VPN and identity verification system to use the full functions and receive benefits. News highlights: at 11 p.m. today, August 22nd, the leap month of June in the lunar calendar ends, officially entering the ghost month of July of the lunar calendar, which will last until 11 p.m. on September 21st, and Zhongyuan Pudu will be on September 6th. Folk tradition believes that when the door to ghost is open, lonely souls and wild ghosts will return to the human world, giving rise to a number of taboos, such as going out at night, playing in the water, moving, getting married, and photographing dark places, etc., emphasizing the reverence for the undead. Buddhism regards July as the month of Obon, which is mainly based on chanting, offering to monks, and giving alms to dedicate merit. Taoism uses Zhongyuan Pudu to sacrifice lonely souls, burn paper money, and offer 3 animals and 5 fruits to appease good brothers. Regardless of faith, the core is to honor ancestors and cherish relatives, save all sentient beings, and do good deeds. News highlights: Premier Zhou Rongta explained the preparation of the general budget on the 21st, pointing out that the comprehensive income tax in 2025 will be reduced by about 243 billion yuan due to the increase in basic living expenses, tax exemptions, standard deductions, and special deductions. In 2026, the basic living expenses per person will be increased by another 3,000 yuan, and the special deduction for long-term care will be raised to 18 yuan, with an estimated tax reduction benefit of about 1 billion yuan. The government has also adjusted the tax bracket, special deductions for childcare and renting, so that single youth, families of 4, and some groups with 3 generations are exempt from paying income tax. In addition, the tax rebate for energy-saving home appliances will be extended to the end of 2029, with an annual tax reduction of about 4.14 billion yuan, an excise tax on non-sugar-free beverages and some home appliances. News highlights: a 3-year-old boy, Enjuo, suffered from severe aplastic anemia last year and needed a bone marrow transplant but could not wait for a hospital bed in Kaohsiung. In order to avoid similar tragedies, Enjuo's mother surveyed 50 parents of sick children, and nearly 70% believed that there were insufficient beds for bone marrow transplantation and high treatment costs. Legislator Lin Yuqin called on the National Health Insurance Administration to adjust the payment model. The Ministry of Health and Welfare stated that it has established 8 core hospitals and lifted restrictions on transfer counties and cities, and the National Health Insurance Administration will significantly increase bone marrow transplant benefit points in September to increase medical resources for sick children. News highlights: a woman surnamed Chen in Tainan bought 20 packs of cotton swabs through Doubao 2 years ago and paid 480 yuan, but the goods were destroyed by customs. Recently, after the police came to detain her for one night, they asked her to pay a fine of 10 yuan. Ms. Chen questioned that the government was too harsh in punishing small purchases. Netizens pointed out that if the cotton swab packaging is labeled as sterile, medical, or sterile, it may be classified as a medical device and must apply for an import license in advance. The Ministry of Health and Welfare stipulates that violators can be sentenced to up to 3 years in prison and a fine of 1,000 yuan. If you meet the requirements for visa-free entry for a small amount of personal use, you do not need to apply. News highlights: on the morning of the 22nd, an execution-style shooting occurred in Kaohsiung Zhouying, where a 63-year-old man surnamed Luo was shot dead in the street by unknown gangsters and died on the spot from a shot in the head and neck. The police found 8 bullet casings at the scene, locked a white passenger car through surveillance cameras, and made every effort to pursue the suspect involved in the case. The Kwoto District Prosecutor's Office has directed the investigation, and the police are investigating the deceased's friendship background, motive for the crime and possible accomplices to clarify the case. News highlights: his diligence and perseverance moved the artist Bai Bingbing and called on the public to support Grandpa Wang. The news aroused a wide response. Many people went to buy steamed buns, and some people spontaneously assisted him in doing business, so that Grandpa Wang's steamed buns sold out quickly, showing the warmth and mutual assistance spirit of Taiwanese society. News highlights: Xie Zhenting, a 31-year-old singer-songwriter from the First Super Avenue of Stars and who won the Golden Melody Newcomer Award for Charlie Progress Reports, has recently been reported to have lost contact, causing fans to worry. Xie Zhenting has been suffering from depression for a long time, and in 2024, due to a relationship dispute, he clashed with his ex-girlfriend, took out a fruit knife, was suppressed by security guards, and was sent to the hospital. He only held a solo concert at the beginning of this year, and his work condition is gradually improving. However, late at night yesterday, 21st, singer friend Fan Yangjing urgently issued a missing person notice through social platforms, calling on anyone to contact Xie Zhenting immediately, indicating that friends and fans around him are very concerned about his whereabouts. News highlights: internet celebrity Erbo, Ga's sister-in-law, found that her body fat percentage was close to 31%, and although she had regular exercise, she still exceeded the standard, and after the guidance of a nutritionist, it dropped to 29%, her weight dropped from 49 kilograms to 47 kilograms, and her visceral fat also improved. Experts point out that a single exercise method, excessive calorie intake, hormonal imbalance, and poor lifestyle can all lead to high body fat. It is recommended to adopt a 3 lows and 1 high diet: low sugar, low refined starch, low processing, high protein, combine muscle strength and aerobic exercise, regular work and rest and hydration, and reduce the intake of hormone-interfering foods such as refined sugar, processed fats, and excessive coffee. News highlights: the 2025 Gate of Hell will open from 11 p.m. on August 22nd, and the public can worship the Good Brothers and the Foundation Lord from 2 to 5 p.m. the next day. The offerings do not have to be abundant, but you can prepare 3 animals or simple hot dishes, singular fruits, apples, mangoes, oranges, etc., tea and wine, biscuits and flowers, and come with toiletries such as wash basin towels. During the worship, incense was inserted to inform the Good Brothers that there are offerings to enjoy, and after the incense was halfway burned, it was burned into silver paper, and the offerings were taken back. The taboos include not keeping them indoors, not naming addresses, not stealing offerings, and messing around with offerings. Sincerity is the focus of worship, and customs may vary slightly depending on the region. News highlights: the U.S. Congress passed the first national cryptocurrency legislation in July this year, the Genius Act, establishing a regulatory system for stable coins, requiring reserves to be backed by U.S. dollars or short-term government bonds, composed of monthly disclosures, and standardized marketing to avoid misleading, giving priority to protecting the rights and interests of holders in the event of bankruptcy. The move, supported by Trump, aims to consolidate the global position of the U.S. dollar, but it also raises concerns about consumer protection and financial risks, with some experts worrying that stablecoins bypassing banking supervision may cause a new financial crisis, and China and the European Union have also expressed concerns about the expansion of the U.S. dollar. News highlights: affected by Trump's high tariffs, Asian companies' profit expectations have diverged. According to data from the London Stock Exchange Group IBES, in the past 2 weeks, Indian companies' profits over the next 12 months have been lowered by 1.2%, ranking first in Asia. Taiwan has decreased by 0.4%, and South Korea has raised its profits by 0.5% due to low dependence on the United States. India's automobiles, capital goods, food and beverage and consumer durable goods industries have been hit the hardest, and if tariffs continue to be imposed by 50%, GDP growth may drop by 1 percentage point. Experts pointed out that India's short-term recovery has been slow, and investment attractiveness has declined. News highlights the U.S. Department of Commerce is considering changing the subsidy method of the CHIPS and Science Act to investment in shares, and TSMC is also among the subsidized companies. According to people familiar with the matter, TSMC executives have discussed the possibility that if the Trump administration asks to become a shareholder, subsidies will be refunded. TSMC's Arizona factory received a $66 billion subsidy and began mass production of advanced chips by the end of 2024, but TSMC does not really rely on U.S. funds. U.S. officials said the Trump administration has no plans to acquire TSMC's equity, and the company declined to comment on hypothetical issues. News highlights the godfather of AI, Huang Rongxuan, visited Taiwan today and visited TSMC chairman Wei Zhijia for the third time, thanking him for assisting in the mass production of the Rubin platform. Rubin chips will be trial-produced in October and mass-produced in the second quarter of next year, making them a key platform for NVIDIA to maintain its lead. Huang Rongxuan said that the Trump administration may use chip subsidies to exchange shares for TSMC, that investing in TSMC is a wise choice. He also talked about the export of H20 chips to China, emphasizing that there is no backdoor for security, and said that the next generation of AI chips will be launched depending on the decision of the U.S. government. This trip only stayed for a few hours, and we left Taiwan after dinner. News highlights a 17-year-old teenager surnamed Zheng in Hsinchu County owed about 4 yuan to his distant relatives, and was unable to repay it for a long time, causing murder. Xie suspected that 8 people found 8 people to beat Zheng Nan to death, wrapped the body in a plastic bag and transported it to the mountainous area of Yulan to abandon the body. The police investigated and found that 4 of the accomplices were minors, and the other was an active Navy sergeant. After Zheng Nan disappeared on the 18th, his family received a ransom of 15 yuan on the 20th before revealing the case, and the case shocked the society. News highlights today, 22nd, affected by the Pacific high pressure, the weather in Taiwan is sunny and hot, the temperature in Taipei soared to 38 degrees Celsius and a red high temperature warning was issued, and orange and yellow lights were also lit up in New Taipei and Tainan, with the ultraviolet index reaching a dangerous level, reminding people to go out to protect themselves from the sun and replenish water. On the other hand, Tropical Disturbance 90W located off the eastern coast of the Philippines has a chance to develop into Typhoon number 13 Swordfish. News highlights Huida CEO Huang Rongxuan arrived at Songshan Airport by private jet this morning, 22nd, and left Taiwan after staying for only a few hours. He said that the main purpose of this trip was to visit TSMC and personally thank the team for their efforts in the next generation Rubin chip process, which covers 6 designs including CPUs, GPUs, networks, and silicon photonics processors, all of which have entered TSMC's wafer fab production. Regarding the outside world's doubts about the existence of a security backdoor for the H20 chip, he solemnly denied it and emphasized that it never existed. Huang Rongxuan revealed that NVIDIA is continuing to communicate with China, hoping to clarify doubts and obtain export licenses. News highlights after the internet celebrity curator Chen Zhihan finished his trip to Shenzhen, China, he revealed in the live broadcast yesterday, 21st, evening that he had successfully opened a Douyin account, and officially announced it on the community today, 22nd. The curator's account has completed real name authentication and is bound to a Taiwanese mobile phone number, with the number of fans exceeding 9.2 and accumulating 3 likes as of this morning. He choked on himself, "You guys, don't chase my account, little GG," and posted 2 posts, including a warning that following will be cursed and an AI-generated photo of a muscular white cat. The news sparked heated discussions and sarcastic comments from Taiwanese netizens. News highlights People's Party chairman Huang Qiuqing was revealed by the internet celebrity Four-Pronged Cat that the land under his name had been donated to a foreign-born man surnamed Huang, speculating that it may be his youngest son born in the United States, and questioned whether if something happens in Taiwan in the future, will he go to the United States with his relatives. Huang Qiuqing did not deny it directly, but only responded that my wife was very unhappy and told me not to respond, and criticized the search for underage children as perverted behavior. The Four-Pronged Cat counterattacked only based on the data, not a meat search. Due to Huang Qiuqing's rare low-key appearance, netizens ridiculed him for no longer having the momentum of the god of war and questioned the default statement. News highlights a 42-year-old man surnamed Li in Hsinchu City lost control after being refused to borrow a toilet at a breakfast shop in the early morning of the 16th, overturning the motorcycle, overturning the meal, slapping the female clerk and throwing a lighter, which scared the store to call the police. When the police arrived, they found that he was drunk and emotional, and even lost incontinence due to physical incontinence during the forced suppression process, which was an embarrassing scene. Shortly after Li Nan was brought back, he returned to the store to shout, but fortunately he did not act violently. The female clerk later filed a complaint of injury, damage, and intimidation. After the incident was exposed, Li Nan's identity was doxed, and he used to be an outsourcing worker at TSMC's Chi factory, and has now resigned and moved to the south. News highlights basketball sweetheart washing vegetables, Wang Yejun, became popular with his sweet image and basketball strength, with more than 41 IG fans. Recently, she went on vacation to Green Island and posted a short video of herself wearing a black bikini, generously showing off her hot body, and laughing and saying, "I forgot to wear sunscreen on the back." In the video, the bikini fabric clings to the body due to the crashing waves, causing a riot among fans and attracting more than 2.2 likes in a short period of time. Netizens enthusiastically left messages, "It's too spicy" and "Why is this video 3 hours?" confirmed 100 times, calling the picture replayed repeatedly, setting off heated discussions. News highlights today, August 22nd, at 11 a.m. is the 7th lunar month of the ghost door. Numerologist Xiao Meng reminds the public to pay attention to 22 ghost month taboos, including not swimming, watching ghost movies in the middle of the night, slapping the shoulder of the person in front of you at will, whistling or taking pictures at night, etc., and reminds the zodiac signs of the rat, snake, monkey and Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Scorpio people are more likely to get stuck in the yin and need to be especially careful. In addition, Xiao Meng suggested eating more rice and blood, meat dumplings, pumpkin, and garlic to prevent brothers from interfering, and pay attention to behaviors such as worshipping the yin temple, gut test games, and midnight dialing to ensure safety. News highlights: Lottie Girl Garen was named Lottie Treasure Girl because of her sweet appearance and beautiful figure, and was previously involved in a turmoil suspected of interacting with the chairman of tens of billions, and was even soured by netizens who claimed to be in the palace, causing heated discussions. However, after nearly a month, Galen quickly returned to work and flew to the United States and Hong Kong to support Taiwan on behalf of Taiwan. She didn't shake off controversy when she appeared in Hong Kong, happily posted street photos and private photos of hotels, wearing a two-piece suit to show off her slender waist and skirt slit shape, attracting fans to leave comments praising super good looking and still super beautiful, and her popularity has not diminished but increased. News highlights: Taiwanese-Japanese internet celebrity couple Motoji couple runs a Facebook fan group Although My Mother Said I Can't Marry in Japan, sharing the exotic love story between Lin Yuhan and Japanese Motoji-san. The fan group has 35 followers, and it was also remade into a movie in 2017. Yesterday, 21, Mrs. Motoji announced without warning that the two had actually divorced peacefully for more than 2 years, and the reason for the divorce was simple, but they no longer needed to be husband and wife, but the two still maintained a good relationship and even traveled to Paris together at the beginning of this year. After the news was exposed, fans were stunned. The couple once published a book about their love and signed a contract with a Japanese agency, and also recruited accompanying photographers to travel around the world, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. News highlights: South Korean actor Cha Eun-woo enlisted in the army on the 28th of last month and is currently receiving recruit training at the Nonsan Army Training Center in South Chungcheong Province. During his enlistment, he was assigned as a dishwasher, and it was reported that soldiers on the same ladder rushed to give him the dishes to wash, just to take a second look, and even forced the instructor to come forward and shout. Teammates and fans revealed that even though he shaved his head, Cha Eun-woo is still handsome, and he once sent a private message to his companions complaining, "Help." The latest official photos show him looking focused and upright, which has sparked heated discussions. News highlights: 57-year-old artist Shen Yulin was recently rushed to the 3rd General Intensive Care Unit due to low hemoglobin of 2.6, and was diagnosed with leukemia. He personally posted a statement today to clarify his condition, emphasizing that there is no explosive hepatitis, no hydrancephalism, no hepatitis B carrier, and no multiple organ failure, normal body indexes, good appetite, and weight gain of 3 kilograms. Shen Yulin recalled that before the onset of the disease, she mistakenly thought it was an autonomic nervous system disorder, but fortunately, his wife Yaya insisted on accompanying him to seek medical treatment to save his life in time. News highlights: veteran actor Peng Yi, Peng Hai, was released by his family today, 21st, confirming that he died of acute myocardial infarction at the age of 80. In recent years, he has also made guest appearances in Diary of a Recruit and Smiling Canteen, and participated in Using 9 Citrus Shops, non-murder novel and the movie Curse, which is a familiar face to the audience. The family said that he passed away peacefully at his residence on the evening of August 17th, and the date of the farewell ceremony will be notified separately, thanking all walks of life for their care and condolences. News highlights: internet celebrity Sprite, Fang Qiwan, became popular for her sharp remarks and hot body, and was named the erotic leader, and has been actively undergoing plastic surgery since the age of 18, spending nearly 10 million so far, but leaving sequelae such as the inability to close her eyes normally. She recently revealed on Facebook that in the past, the high levator muscles caused large and small eyes, dry eye syndrome and corneal ulcers, and she was extremely painful when sleeping. Sprite reminds that eye lift muscle surgery should not be performed unilaterally and should be followed by a doctor to avoid serious sequelae. She once admitted that she was anxious about her appearance, had 19 facial plastic surgery, and had microplastic surgery in many places on her body, which changed greatly. News highlights: due to the leap June in the 7th lunar month of 2025, the opening time of the Ghost Gate will fall at 11 p.m. on August 22nd. Numerologist Shimizu Meng pointed out that Capricorns are rational and pragmatic, and calmly observe supernatural events. Aries is brave and straightforward, and will take the initiative to investigate strange sounds. Scorpio has strong emotional control, is interested in the occult, and can remain calm even if the surrounding strangeness is not feared. News highlights: a 51-year-old man surnamed Luo was blocked by a man in black while walking a dog, and was chased to the door and shot 12 times in an execution style. Luo Nan was involved in a number of fraud and theft cases, and the police preliminarily determined that the shooting was related to a financial dispute, and is now pursuing the suspect. It is understood that Luo Nan was sentenced for defrauding insurance money in a fake car accident, and the case is still being tried in the High Court. News highlights: South Korean actress Wang Yung-eum was suspected of embezzling 4.34 billion won, about NT dollar 9,470, from public funds, and appeared in court on the 21st for trial, and the prosecution sought a 3-year prison sentence in accordance with the Act on the Aggravated Punishment of Specific Economic Crimes. Wang Yung-eum admitted to transferring company funds to his personal account, of which 4.2 billion won was invested in cryptocurrencies, and the rest was used for taxes and credit card fees, which were fully returned in May and June this year. She said she was deeply sorry for neglecting tax management because she was focused on her work, and the defense lawyer emphasized that she did not cause any harm to other artists and asked the court to give them a lighter sentence. News highlights: kiwi fruit has recently become popular on TikTok and has been hailed as the most perfect snack by nutritionists. A medium kiwi only 48 calories, high in fiber, helps digestion, stabilizes blood sugar and reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Rich in vitamin C, potassium, and unsaturated fat, strengthen immunity, promote wound healing and maintain blood pressure. Kiwi fruit also contains kiwi protease, which can promote intestinal peristalsis, and eating 2 pieces a day can improve bowel movements and may slightly improve sleep quality. Nutritionists recommend adding smoothies, salads, or yogurt, or eating them whole with the skin. News highlights: he personally explained his condition on social platforms today, 22nd, emphasizing that leukemia cannot be prevented, and there are restrictions on health check UPS. On July 28, at the insistence of his wife Yaya, he went to the hospital. His hemoglobin was as low as 2.6, and he was diagnosed with leukemia and immediately sent to the intensive care unit for treatment. He clarified that he did not suffer from explosive hepatitis, multiple organ failure or hepatitis B carrier, and that other organs were functioning normally. His weight had increased by 3 kilograms, and he received chemotherapy and targeted drug treatment at National Taiwan University Hospital, which is progressing smoothly, and he is optimistic that he will be able to meet you soon. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan held a meeting today, 22nd, and the National Affairs Forum and the meeting were adjourned after a total of 32 minutes, and will resume on the 25th. During the council meeting, 3 bills, including the amendment to the Special Regulations on Resilience, which is related to universal cash of 1 yuan, were directly paid for the second reading, and the total budget was raised to 5,900 billion yuan, of which 200 billion yuan was used for grid resilience and 200 billion yuan for industrial support, and covered the disadvantaged plus and general cash operating funds. Wang Meihuai's version of the Basic Law on Artificial Intelligence and the 17th Amendment to Article 17 of the Wang Zhensu Income Tax Law were also sent to the second reading. The government and the opposition negotiated and decided that each case would be dealt with by the House of Representatives on the 29th, and there was no limit on the freezing period for party and caucus negotiations. News highlights: Jiangguo Middle School is suspected of having a campus communist organization, Taiwan Inter-School Communist Federation, covering 39 schools and holding positions such as General Secretary, which has attracted attention from the outside world. The relevant IG account calls itself the Founding Communist Party, emphasizing that it has nothing to do with the CCP, promoting campus reform and communist concepts, and planning decision-making, administration, propaganda, foreign affairs and other committees, and holding conferences during the winter and summer vacations to attract students to join. The Ministry of Education stated that it will understand the situation, emphasizing that campuses should respect diversity, protect democracy, and guide students to participate in legitimate democracy and cultivate critical thinking and civic responsibility. News highlights: a car accident occurred on the afternoon of the 9th in Niahu District, Taipei, where a 46-year-old woman surnamed Chen collided with a small truck while riding an 8-year-old daughter, and both mother and daughter fell to the ground and were sent to the hospital. Although Chen Nu escaped from danger and was discharged from the hospital, her daughter was declared brain dead on the afternoon of the 11th and died. Chen Nu was heartbroken and sorted out her daughter's words left by, feeling her daughter's affectionate memory, and calling on witnesses to provide dashcam footage to restore the incident and give her daughter an explanation. News highlights: in the past, Xiaojun recovered from brain tumor surgery, but on the eve of his senior year, he suffered a stroke, paralyzed and aphasia, and needed long-term feeding and rehabilitation. Akin guards day and night, frugalizes food and clothing, and receives continuous funding from the public welfare organization Continuation of Love Association to support medical and living expenses. With the help of maternal love and hard work, Xiaojun miraculously gradually recovered, was able to walk on his own, and will return to National University in September this year to complete his studies. News highlights a diabetic man in his 40s successfully lost 16 kilograms by changing his diet and walking 10,000 steps a day, and his glycated hemoglobin and insulin resistance improved significantly. The patient quit his favorite fried buns and dumplings in the past, followed a diabetic diet, and stabilized his blood sugar by taking an hour of walking every day. Doctors recommend that most people start by taking a 10 to 20 minute walk after meals to increase insulin sensitivity. The nutritionist also reminded that high oil and high salt foods should be eaten occasionally and supplemented with dietary fiber. News highlights the 7th lunar month is approaching, and the ghost moon hairstyle taboo has attracted attention again. Traditional sayings remind that ghost moons should not cut hair to avoid reducing protection, long hair should be avoided to attract yin energy, do not cover the heavenly court with hair on your forehead, which will affect your fortune, avoid dyeing or cutting drastically to avoid chaotic aura, hair accessories should avoid damaged, hollowed, or all black, white, bright red and other colors to avoid attracting yin energy. Although it is a folk belief, it is still recommended to maintain a low-key style during the ghost month and change the hairstyle after the festival. News highlights the summer solar term symbolizes the turning point in late summer and early autumn, and it is also a good time for wealth to flow. Numerology expert Xiaomeng Taro Yunwei pointed out that the 3 zodiac signs with the most prosperous financial luck in the summer are in order. The first dragon, with its leadership aura and decisiveness, is valued in the workplace and interpersonal interactions, and efforts can be effective. The second place chicken, flexible thinking and keen judgment help him seize partial wealth opportunities, and it is easy to get windfall in investment, lottery, or side hustle. The third place horse is outgoing and lively, with strong connections, and participating in social or business activities is easy to attract noble people and cooperation opportunities, and financial luck naturally increases with interpersonal interactions. News highlights NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang arrived in Taiwan on the 22nd, mainly visiting TSMC and talking about nuclear energy and energy issues. He pointed out that industrial development, especially the operation of AI factories, relies on stable energy, and called for exploring various energy options including solar energy, wind energy, clean carbon technology, and nuclear energy. He said that AI will comprehensively increase the production capacity of various industries, and Taiwan's advantages in semiconductor manufacturing are an excellent opportunity to develop AI factories. He also praised Taiwan's electronics manufacturing capabilities and mentioned the cooperation with Hon Hai to build Taiwan's first AI factory, emphasizing that energy is the core driving force for industrial and social operations. News highlights the TV series Zero Day Attack director Luo Jinggren's team received a subsidy of 2,872 yuan from the Employment Stabilization Fund of the Ministry of Labor from 2022 to 2024, and was supposed to provide 35 films and 2 public relations activities, but in fact, only 1 film and 1 press conference were written off more than 10 million, and the audit department questioned the difficulty of verifying the performance. The new party accused former Minister of Labor Su Ming-chun of corruption, and the Beijing prosecutor's office has listed Su as a defendant in other cases and investigated the subsidy case of Luo's team. News highlights when Mr. Lan Bo, the king of dance in the entertainment industry, passed through Yulan on the 21st, he met a recycling uncle who fell down on a bicycle. Lan Bo shared his heartwarming experience in the community afterwards, thanking his family and the car behind him for their patient assistance. After this move was exposed, netizens praised him for his kindness and warmth, and reminded the elderly that recycling operations are risky. News highlights a 47-year-old woman with high blood pressure in mainland China died of a sudden cerebellar hemorrhage one day because she loved to drink soup. Doctors remind that soup is high in fat, calories, and cholesterol, and long-term consumption in large quantities can easily increase the risk of cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, and kidney diseases, and patients with high blood pressure should avoid it. The Ministry of Health and Welfare recommends that blood pressure control should be done regularly, reduce salt, eat more fresh food, drink less hot pot soup, and combine exercise with regular blood pressure measurement. News highlights in the leap month of 2025, the Ghost Gate will open at 11 p.m. today, 22nd, and Qing Shuimeng international tarot expert Xiao Meng reminds couples that there are 8 taboos in the ghost month: do not wall dong, avoid calling each other's names in open spaces or suburbs, do not hold hands or ride a bicycle to worship, do not say I want to die, love to death, etc., do not go to old movie theaters, avoid taking the last train, walk the dog to avoid parks and river embankments, and reduce videos to avoid causing lonely and good brothers to interfere or affect the relationship. News highlights NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang visited Taiwan in the early morning of the 22nd, mainly visiting TSMC to discuss the production plan of the new generation of Rubin platform chips, including CPUs, GPUs, NVLink switches, networking chips and silicon photonic switches. He thanked TSMC personnel for their hard work and pointed out that the H20 chip has been approved by the United States for sale in mainland China, emphasizing that the product has never contained a backdoor and is communicating with China to resolve relevant concerns. At the same time, he talked about the export of AI technology in the United States, emphasizing the importance of the globalization of AI development. News highlights. Yongqing real estate statistics show that the top 5 stations with the lowest average total price are Tomsui Station, the building is about 1,288 yuan, and the apartment is the most affordable at 637 yuan. Danfeng Station building 1,703 yuan, apartment 977 yuan, Happiness Station and apartment about 1,044 yuan, Sankong Elementary School Station and apartment 1,047 yuan, Xinzhuang Station is also cost-effective. Experts pointed out that the main reasons for the total price include long commuting, slower regional development, and high age of houses, but the potential of surrounding business districts, school districts, and urban planning is expected to support the growth of the housing market. News highlights. Nvidia has asked Hon Hai to suspend the processing of the H20 AI chip, and Hon Hai is one of the component suppliers of the chip and is responsible for back-end processing. Nvidia said this is part of supply chain management to respond to market conditions. Previously, information also pointed out that Nvidia has instructed suppliers such as Samsung Electronics and Amkor Technology to stop production related to H20 chips. News highlights. The administration of US President Trump is considering obtaining chip law subsidies for company equity, but has no intention of investing in large semiconductor companies that have committed to increasing US investment, such as TSMC and Micron. Commerce Secretary Lutnick said that the government is considering the possibility of acquiring a 10% stake in Intel, but does not plan to hold shares in companies such as TSMC. TSMC has announced an investment of $100 billion in the United States this year, and previously promised to build 3 wafer factories in Arizona, and received a $6.6 billion subsidy from the CHIP Act last year. News highlights. On the eve of the nuclear referendum, Nvidia CEO Huang Rongsun arrived in Taiwan on the 22nd and said in an interview that the development of AI factories and new industries depends on energy, and he hopes that various energy forms can be explored, including low-carbon technology, solar energy, wind energy, and nuclear energy. He pointed out that AI will be ubiquitous, improve productivity in various industries, and create new applications, and Taiwan is a great opportunity. Huang Rongsun emphasized that Taiwan's first AI factory built in cooperation with Hon Hai is just the starting point, and energy is the core of driving human, industrial growth. News highlights. Ukrainian officials said that Russia launched a rare airstrike on western Ukraine last night, dispatching 574 drones and 40 missiles, including a U.S. electronics factory, killing 1 person and injuring 22. Russia claimed to have attacked military-industrial facilities and denied that civilian areas were harmed. Ukrainian President Zelensky pointed out that U.S. companies are deliberately targeted and have nothing to do with the military, adding uncertainty to the negotiations on the end of the war. Former U.S. President Trump criticized Biden for not providing Ukraine with enough counterattack weapons, saying that if he did not counterattack the aggressor, there would be no hope of victory. News highlights. Nvidia CEO Huang Rongsun arrived in Taiwan in a whirlwind on the 22nd, and emphasized in an interview at the airport that the purpose of the visit was to thank TSMC for cooperating in creating the next-generation chip architecture Rubin. Rubin is Nvidia's new GPU platform, including CPU, GPU, NVLink switch, network chip, network switch and silicon photonics processor, designed to cope with the explosion of AI computing and improve performance and energy efficiency. Foreign investors are optimistic about Rubin's prospects, and Morgan Stanley pointed out that mass production is expected in the second quarter of 2026, and is optimistic that concept stocks such as TSMC, Xinhua, Shixin KY, and Mediatek will benefit. News highlights. The 2025 Ghost Gate will open at 2300 hours on August 22, and folklore experts remind the public to follow the taboos of life and accommodation, such as knocking on the door and turning sideways when entering the room, leaving lights at night, turning on the lights and flushing the toilet first, and avoiding bed-to-bed or side rooms, etc., to increase safety and yang energy. During the Ghost Month, you can also refer to the methods of attracting wealth, including the 5 ghosts to luck wealth, red envelopes and coins, borrowing yin, coins to water for water, purifying the house, splashing coarse salt, mung beans, red beans, placing the 5 emperors' money, using money mothers or good luck wallets, and accumulating good deeds instead of burning paper money, symbolizing attracting wealth and avoiding evil spirits, and living a good ghost month. News highlights. Mr. Wang, a 42-year-old tire shop owner in Zhonghua, was misdiagnosed as a brain tumor after moving something and injuring the corner of his eye. Fortunately, after being transferred to the hospital and undergoing surgery to drain and lower blood pressure, Mr. Wang miraculously woke up, was able to speak clearly and go home to reunite with his family. News highlights. The Legislative Yuan today, 22nd, dealt with the report on the draft amendment to the Special Regulations on Resilience, and the DPP caucus proposed to pay for the second reading, and the government and the opposition reached a consensus, and the Legislative Yuan President Han Kuo-yu convened consultations, which is expected to be read for the third time next Friday, 29th, to speed up the General Cash Fund. The draft amendment raises the overall funding ceiling from 5,450 billion yuan to 5,900 billion yuan, adding funds related to power resilience, industrial support, care for the disadvantaged, and cash distribution, and general cash is still one of the main items. News highlights: a 4-year-old girl in West Java, Indonesia, was rushed to the hospital on July 13 due to illness, but lost consciousness before arriving at the hospital, and her condition worsened and complicated into meningeal tuberculosis. The doctor was surprised to see a 15 cm live roundworm crawling out of the girl's nostrils, and more than 1 kilogram of roundworms in the excrement. The report pointed out that the girl delayed seeking medical treatment due to her difficult family background and lack of medical insurance, and the incident also reminded the public to pay attention to hygiene habits and food safety. News highlights: August 23 will usher in the second wave of recall and nuclear extension referendums, double voting days. Although the DPP publicly claims to walk with the strike group, its substantive strength may have weakened, reflecting the dilemma of riding a tiger. He believes that large-scale recalls are difficult to sustain without the intervention of the ruling party, but in the past, if the ruling party insisted on not intervening, this situation would not have occurred. Democratic Progressive Party Chairman and President Lee King emphasized that he will accompany civic groups until the last moment and fully support the election of the recall district. News highlights: the layout of the 2026 New Taipei City mayoral election has been launched. People's Party Chairman Huang Qiuqing has expressed his candidacy, and Kuomintang Taipei City Vice Mayor Li Sichuan is not averse to investment. Online polls show that as of August 22, Li Sichuan led Huang Qiuqing's 32% with 59% support, and more than 3 people participated in the discussion. Both Li and Huang expressed their willingness to cooperate, respect democratic mechanisms, and jointly negotiate to launch the strongest candidate to avoid division, and sparked heated discussions among netizens about the possibility of blue and white combination. News highlights: previously, it was reported that the U.S. government may require the CHIPS Act to subsidize companies to allow the federal shares, and major manufacturers such as TSMC and Samsung were named, but the latest news shows that the Trump administration does not plan to invest in TSMC. According to the Wall Street Journal, TSMC has discussed internally that if the United States insists on investing in the shares, it may directly refund the $66 billion subsidy. U.S. officials also reiterated that they have no intention of acquiring equity in companies that are expanding and investing in the United States, and TSMC has not commented on this. News highlights: Taiwan Jiangguo Middle School has established the CCP-CKCP and the Taiwan Inter-School Communist Federation, with members covering 39 high schools, which has raised concerns about whether the campus has been infiltrated by Red forces. However, the General Secretary came forward to clarify that the organization was founded in 2022 purely for entertainment and has nothing to do with the Communist Party of China. The Mainland Affairs Council reminded young people to understand the history of the CCP and the international communist movement to understand its authoritarian nature. News highlights today, 22nd, the temperature is hot in Taiwan, and the Meteorological Administration released high-temperature information in the morning. Taipei City has a red light, with a continuous probability of extreme high temperatures of 38 degrees, New Taipei City's orange light, with a continuous high temperature of 36 degrees, Dawan, Zhonghua, Tainan, Kaohsiung, and Pingtung are yellow lights. People should avoid outdoor activities, use sun protection, hydrate more, use fans or ice packs to cool down, and pay special attention to the elderly, children, chronic diseases and outdoor workers, and stay away from high-temperature environments. News highlights: entering September, the numerology and fortune website Soha pointed out that the zodiac tiger, rabbit, dragon, and horse will usher in a bumper harvest period for both career and financial luck. Tiger people's career and financial luck will improve simultaneously, and nobles will have good luck, and they will have the opportunity to be promoted or raised in salary or start a business. Rabbit people have smooth financial luck and promotion, and noble people help each other, making them suitable for continuous learning and career expansion. Dragon people have peak leadership, are easily reused by their superiors, increase their income and bonuses, and can also increase their wealth by investing in side hustles. Horses are expected to be promoted to management or expand into new markets. Entrepreneurs will attract capital investment, and the integration of resources and policy dividends will help financial luck explode. News highlights: a 7-year study in Israel that followed more than 6,300 patients with diabetes and obesity found that slimming injections, GLP-1 receptor agonists, can not only effectively lower blood sugar and weight, but also significantly reduce the risk of cancer, with an overall incidence reduction of about 41%, of which the risk of colorectal cancer, breast cancer, and uterine cancer is also significantly reduced. Studies have pointed out that slimming injections are expected to extend from diabetes and weight loss treatment to assistive cancer prevention, but more long-term follow-up and randomized controlled trials are still needed to confirm its anti-cancer mechanism and safety. News highlights: after North Korea and Russia signed the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, it sent about 15,000 soldiers to support the Russian-Ukrainian front, but thousands of people were killed. Pyongyang held a national-level award ceremony on the 22nd. Kim Jong-un personally awarded heroic titles and medals to the fallen soldiers, hugged the bereaved families, choked up and delivered a speech expressing regret and apology, praising the soldiers for showing the power of the Korean People's Army, and leading the audience to observe a moment of silence. News highlights: mainland actor Su Kai was recently exposed to his relationship with actress Su Lisha, which attracted the attention of the new drama Midnight Return. Su Lisha posted on the 22nd denying that she was her current girlfriend, and revealed that she and Su Kai broke up as early as the end of 2022 due to the Zhaoqing incident, saying that details would be gradually announced. Su Kai's agent Yu Zhang later issued a statement to clarify, emphasizing that Su Kai was single, and the chat records on the internet were forged, and the police had been reported to deal with it, and evidence was collected from the rumor-mongering account. News highlights: after YouTuber Rebellious Boy terminated his contract with Sun Sheng in February, it was once again reported that core member Layla took the initiative to terminate the contract. The group leader Cool said on social platforms late at night on the 21st, "I believe everything is the best arrangement," and announced on the podcast video version that Layla regained her freedom. Layla revealed that after she texted Cool to terminate her contract, she couldn't help but cry when she saw the signing review photos that popped up on Facebook. News highlights: on the 6th anniversary of their debut, the South Korean girl group ITZY kicked off for the CITIC Brothers at the Taipei Dome for the first time, bringing 7 performance songs that shocked the audience. During an exclusive interview backstage, the 5 people learned the authentic Taiwanese baseball slogan "Bento Bento," swing the bat and failed, and expressed their hope to participate in the Stove Coffee competition and meet more fans. Miji member Kaling said that he was nervous about pitching in a field of 3 people, but with the help of the players, he completed it smoothly, and Li Ji's pitching posture was the most handsome. ITZY also revealed that they love Taipei food and will participate in the trendy Taipei Boom Taipei Arena again in September. News highlights: on August 23, 2025, the gates of hell opened, officially entering the ghost month in folklore. Folklore expert Yang Dengsong reminded that even if you are not superstitious, you should respect tradition and protect the safety of your family. In the 7th month of the lunar calendar, you should avoid starting groundbreaking, large-scale house occupancy, buying a house, hanging lanterns or wind chimes at home, so as not to disturb good brothers or attract lonely ghosts. News highlights: at 10:16 a.m. on August 22, Taiwan time, a magnitude 7.5 earthquake occurred in the Drake Strait between Antarctica and South America. The Central Meteorological Administration issued tsunami information at 10:37 a.m., and pointed out that the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center reported that the epicenter was located at 62.00 degrees west longitude and 60.40 degrees south latitude, with a magnitude of 8.0, which may pose a tsunami threat to the Pacific region. News highlights: Kuomintang legislator Su Kioxin restarted his Threads account after surviving the recall case, showing his combat power on social platforms, attracting a large number of young supporters to join and forming a new base for the Blue Camp. Senior media person Wu Zijia analyzed that Su Kioxin broke through the original political stratosphere and successfully turned Threads into a long-term business base, but instead made the DPP face challenges on the platform where the original Green Camp was advantageous, and also showed that the recall action unexpectedly became an opportunity for her political turnaround. News highlights: the tropical depression 90W over the eastern sea of the Philippines has a chance to intensify into Typhoon Swordfish, but due to the influence of the Pacific high pressure, it is expected to move all the way west, and the probability of landing in Taiwan is low, and the main impact will be concentrated in Luzon and Hainan Island. Although there is no direct threat to Taiwan, the moisture in the south will increase, and there may be brief showers in the southeast such as Taitung and Hengchun over the weekend, while other areas will still be hot, with high temperatures reaching more than 36 degrees. So people need to pay attention to sun protection and hydration. News highlights: from 23 o'clock tonight, 22nd, the ghost door opens in the 7th lunar month, and it will not be closed until 23 o'clock on September 21st, commonly known as the ghost month. Folklore experts remind that during this period, you should avoid going out at night, near the water, moving, getting married or breaking ground, and do not dry clothes, whistle or pick up red envelopes to avoid attracting yin energy. Buddhism regards this month as the Bon Moon, while Taoism holds Zhongyuan Pudu ancestor worship and lonely souls. At home, it is recommended to keep the light bright, avoid large furniture or shrines of gods and gods entering the house, trim the trees in the courtyard, do not face the bed at night, and use warm colors to decorate to enhance yang energy and ensure safety. News highlights: a 19-year-old man surnamed Zhang in Hunai District, Kaohsiung City, drove a BMW late at night and bombed the streets, causing dissatisfaction among residents many times. A 42-year-old numerologist surnamed Su once came to persuade him, but Zhang Nan and his father were arrogant and even called on friends to retaliate in the community. Residents initiated a petition demanding an apology, and the incident quickly fermented on the internet. In the end, Zhang Nan posted on the community admitting his inappropriate behavior, apologizing to the residents and the public, and expressing his deep apologies for the trouble. News highlights: a construction rope breakage accident occurred at about 3 a.m. this morning on the Jianza Yellow River Bridge of the Sichuan-Qinghai Railway in Qinghai Province, and many workers were working. According to the Emergency Management Department, as of 8 a.m., 4 people have been killed and 12 people are missing, and rescue is continuing. The bridge is 1,596.2 meters long, 15 meters wide, and the main bridge has a total length of 648 meters, making it the world's largest span double-track railway continuous steel truss arch bridge and the first railway steel truss arch bridge across the Yellow River.